Hello, Printed Book. I wanted to show you a couple of alternatives to binding your little pamphlet books. One way is to use these little brass fasteners. They're called, I'm sure you've seen them, just called brads. I just had some in my office supplies, but you can get them, online if you don't have any. And they're just these little guys with a head that open up on the back, like split open like this. So what I've got here is just loose leaf sheets, so you don't need folios for this. And I've held them together just with the binder clip, and then along the spine side I put my punching jig. So you can punch the holes for this book using just like a standard hole punch, but I would use your awl first to punch through all the sheets and make kind of like a little mark all the way through there to show you where to punch, because my hole punch, my standard hole punch, was not big enough to punch through all of this stuff at one time. So making that little mark through all the sheets just kind of gives you a guide, so that now you can take the clips off and then punch these just a few sheets at a time. You could probably use your awl or whatever you're using as your like pokey stick to like make a hole wide enough to put the brads through too, but I think the hole punch just kind of like, I don't know, looks a little nicer. So if you've got a hole punch, I would use one of those. So you want to punch all your sheets, and again just kind of use that hole that you made with the awl to line up the punch. And then you just want to jog your sheets together, and these guys just go through the holes and then get opened up on the back. So one thing, because I punched three like holes for these guys, the end ones are kind of close. So when I open this up, that little like piece of brass is going to overhang the head and the tail, and I would just trim that with a sharp pair of scissors. So you can just cut that right off so that it doesn't poke out. And you could do that for all of them if you wanted them to match. So last one, put it through, spread it apart, and trim. So the only other thing I'll say in prepping, if you're going to do a binding that takes place on the side like this, is that you lose about an inch or so of paper. So like when this book opens, right, it won't open flat, and so you want to plan to start your imagery, from that little like that little edge there over. Okay, so that's one way.